Good? All of them?
Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a wonderful, productive weekend, right? Okay, so we have a fun one for you today. I love this topic just because I really think it can help everybody do better for themselves. But okay, so did you know there is a day where many people collectively abandon their New Year's resolutions? And this day has a name. It's called National Quitters Day.
No.
And it actually happened Friday.
Oh.
So that was the 10th, Friday the 10th. So they say it's observed the second Friday of January. So if you haven't quit your New Year's resolutions yet,
Yeah, good job.
great job. Yes. So, we all know it's very common, right, to have these intentions, but it's also very challenging to follow through, to hold to it. So we have some tips and tricks. We want to talk about it all, and there's some research behind it, so it can be really helpful in really understanding it psychologically. Like I said, we've all found ourselves like revved up to commit to these bold new habits, whether it's a New Year's resolution or just anytime you want to make a change. I don't typically do New Year's resolutions. If I want to make a change and I'm feeling it any time of the year, that's when I commit to it. I don't wait for the year. But if New Year's resolution is your jam and your thing, you pick one, we're going to work on it. So today we're going to discuss what is a habit, because obviously with New Year's resolutions, this is what we're trying to form, right? We're trying to form a habit, a new habit. How long does it really take to form a habit? That's where the research comes in. Tips for creating and sustaining new habits. Most common reasons New Year's resolutions or committing to a new habit fail. And benefits of forming new healthy habits. So going to start off today by just defining what is a habit. A habit is generally defined as something that's performed automatically without much thought. Habits tend to feel like part of us, right? Part of the fabric of our life, because we do them subconsciously, and they don't require motivation anymore to do, right? So
what are some examples maybe?
A great example of that, brushing your teeth.
Sure.
Do you actually think twice about it? No, it's just part of your program. Like you finish your breakfast or you get up in the morning, whatever you do, you brush your teeth. Before you go to bed, you brush your teeth. You're just going down to tie your shoes when you put your shoes on. Like you're not going to think about, oh, I need to tie my shoes. You just go and tie your shoes. So it might seem like those are so small compared to something like going and exercising. But I will tell you, if you do these tips that we're going to talk about today, that over time that will become that habit. Again, without motivation. I'm at the point where I don't think twice about getting up in the morning to go exercise. I almost just feel like it's like Groundhog Day, right? My alarm goes up, I get up, I go to exercise. Nothing is motivating me to do it anymore. It's just part of me. It's part of my program. So that's how we want to make whatever new habit it is that you're trying to form, whatever resolution it may be. You really want to make it automatic, done without motivation.
Yeah.
So when you can turn these healthy choices into habits, you're more likely to keep them up. Like this, you might not think twice about going to meet your friend for yoga. You might not think twice about taking your supplements, right? They're just there. Like I eat my breakfast, I take my supplements. It's not like all of a sudden now it's 5 o'clock and I'm like, shoot, I forgot to take my supplements, right? It's more like it's got to be into your program. All right. So that's pretty much what about a habit. And while I'm talking, guys, if you have questions on this topic, please write them in, okay? Because we will take questions throughout and at the end. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe to our channel. It helps us, but it also helps you so you don't miss anything. And welcome if you've been watching us. Give us like a number 2, like you've been here before. And if you're new to us, give us a number 1 in the comments. We love new and repeat, guys. So always share this with your friends, your family, because this is information that can benefit everybody.
Yeah, and also questions send in, that's fine, but comments, things that work for you, I'd love to hear.
Oh, yes.
Maybe you could tell us what goals and what habits you're trying to establish for this year.
Sure, great idea. Okay, so based on research, how long does it really take to form a new habit? And so automaticity plateaued on average of 66 days. So that took, on average, a study, on average, 66 days to actually make something be automatic. But that range was 18 days to 254 days. So remember, I'm just saying the average was 66. So it's helpful to think about maybe it's about 10 weeks, okay, based on daily repetition, right? So you can't like do something Tuesday and Friday and then expect in 10 weeks it's going to be a habit. Daily repetition give yourself that guide of like 10 weeks, give or take, right? Because we're all very different. And that's how long it's going to take. So I want that to help you understand that I don't want you to lose the motivation of like, God, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and I just can't do it anymore. Nothing's changing. I don't feel any better. You know, you've got to give it time, and more time requires less motivation. Remember that. What else? Okay. Yes. So our behavior gets progressively easier. I was just talking about that. So I did lots of notes on this yesterday. I was traveling, so I was doing it on the plane. They say another study was to give yourself 2 to 3 months. So same thing, close to that 10 weeks. So, and again, that's to make a behavior become second nature, right? Second nature. What else?
Well, we're not experts. We're not,
Sure.
we don't study, really specialize in this space. We're talking a lot about some research Lisa's done and kind of practical things that work for us. And there is a book I want to mention though, and an author. It's called, the name of the book is Atomic Habits. The author is James Clear, I believe, and powerful, very smart author. And so I encountered that when I was researching this topic today. So there's some pretty powerful stuff in that book.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And so while there's not that magic number, right, that we need to follow, there's tips that can help you form this long-lasting routine. And typically it's something to better your health, your life. So here's some tips that are recommended by the experts. So practice habit stacking. So link a goal you want to achieve to a habit you already do regularly, using an established routine as a trigger to prompt you to perform the new behavior. Right?
Yeah. Can you think of an example for something you do?
Okay. So a habit that I already do regularly.
I would say sauna, and then you stack your cold plunging.
Right.
Is that an example?
Right. So if you say you already are going on a walk every day, but your goal is to start strength training, right? That's great. So you get up, you tie your shoes, you get it all on, and you go, or whenever you're going to do your walk. And then at the end, you stack on 15, 20 minutes of strength training, right? So you're already rolling into it. So instead of like trying to start something, I mean, your motivation is already there. So it just makes it easier to roll right into it, right? So, I mean, that can think about other examples as we're going through, but track your progress. This is a big one because a lot of times if you're feeling that lack of motivation, but you've tracked your progress, you can go back and look at it. So there's apps for it. There's free apps for this. A journal is so great. You know, writing in a journal is a very healthy thing anyways. So you don't have to write a book, just write what you did that day. You know, write how long, if it's exercise, how long you exercise. If it's, you know, taking your supplements, it seems so minor to write down. Like I took my daily essentials pack, my factor 4, and my super reds and super greens today. Great. Okay. Like you just making sure, like it's almost also holding yourself accountable. Like when you start to write
I think
down.
as you're talking, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking accountability. Yeah. The whole time. Because I think journaling and writing and documenting is a lot of work, you know, and if that's your habit, if that's what you're trying to form, if that's your goal, then great. You can kind of do both at the same time. But yeah, that's another step.
Sure. Definitely. Be kind to yourself. This is a big one because we get so hard on ourselves. And once you get hard on yourself, you're just like, you almost like throw all your progress out the window. So say maybe this is diet related and you're just having a day and you get something that's not healthy. And then you're just like, oh, I just ruined it all. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. No, be kind to yourself. If you slip up, don't give up. Like use these setbacks as learning opportunities, right? and then recommit to your goal, right? So I cheated on my diet. Okay, well, I'm fine. I'm human, right? I'm back on it tomorrow. We're good. So just again, recommitting. And if you're writing this stuff down, I mean, you write that down too, and then you can look at how many days that you were so solid with what you were doing, and you know, be positive about that. This is also, I think, extremely important one is choose narrow goals over broad goals. So, example, don't just say my New Year's resolution is to lose weight. That is a big New Year's resolution. Of course, that's the, that's the end goal. But how are we going to get there? Let's start small. So let's start small by cleaning up our diet. So step one is I'm going to focus on removing processed foods, right? Or I'm going to eat my, body weight in pounds or my ideal body weight in grams of protein. I'm going to increase my protein intake, right? Using our like protein powders and just increasing your protein intake. That is a baby step of getting you there. So you commit to that part and then you add on, right? So, and then of course, adding in the exercise. But if you choose something just so big, it's just going to be overwhelming and you're almost going to forget how to get there. But again, that's also, you're focusing on the end goal, not the steps to get there. And we need to make our habits as like the steps to get to the end goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like we'll say, I love that actually, because I'm thinking financial now. So say somebody wants to save $1,000 a month.
Okay.
That's like, okay, good. We put a number on it. They didn't just say we want to save money, but we want to save $1,000 more per month.
Great example.
But you have to be more granular, right? You should definitely drill into that further and say, we're going to limit our dining out to 2 nights per week and 1 lunch out per week or something.
Right. Because like, how are you going to get to that end goal?
Get to the 1,000? So, back it into a number. I know that it's common sense, but at the same time, you're right though, because that's where the goal setting should be.
Yeah.
You need to be specific. I like that. I think being smart about it. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, with a timeline kind of thing. So love that. Financial goals are a big one too. I know we're so pre-programmed, focused on health. And I know we sit here, we'll talk a ton about health, but
there are so many different kinds of goals.
So many different types of things. And
this can apply to whatever your goal is.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I know you say you don't set major like New Year's resolutions. I don't necessarily do major, but if there's some small things, it's that time of year where it's got you thinking.
Yeah.
It's, so your wheels are turning. You're saying, what are some things that I need to change, and then it's great because it's reflective and it allows you some time to just focus on yourself.
Right.
So
that's cool. It could be if you have kids, like I want to, I want to decrease how many times I raise my voice at my kids during the day. Cause it's tough and it's rough and you have to it's a little small step. You just got to, how are we going to get there? You plan it out. Like, instead of reacting, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to think before reacting. And then we're going to, communicate. You can work on breathing. Okay. I get upset. They're making me bonkers. I'm going to work on some deep breathing and then I'm going to approach the situation differently. So small little things.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I don't really have an agenda but I think a lot of what like human nature has become too is a delayed gratification. So the way we do things, it's not this instant gratification. There is that too. Like, it probably does feel good the moment that you realize you didn't raise your voice to the children when otherwise you might have, right? That probably feels, okay, cool, I didn't do that.
Or you eat a healthy salad with chicken on it for lunch instead of having a burger and fries or something.
Yeah, that feels good, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of the actual requires patience. A lot of goal setting requires time and investment. Like you just mentioned how many days it takes, 66 days or whatever it is, but on average. But that's such a range. I mean, think about the things we do in life to attain goals. Think about the time we spend climbing a career ladder and think about the time we spend in education to get a degree or, this stuff is very time heavy.
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
Be patient too.
Yep.
Yeah. Be patient.
That's great. Okay, another one is lean into these new habits. Okay, so the key to habit formation is repetition in a consistent context. Habits don't just happen in isolation. So I'm going to give you an example that can help you think about this. And it really is creating a plan for your habit. So I'm going to give the exercise example because this is something that I do. I lay my clothes out, my workout clothes, and I don't care if you're going to the gym at noon the night before. Lay out your clothes. Everything is there. But I go in the morning, so I lay out my clothes before I go to bed. I make my powders in a mason jar with the lid on it. So I don't put water in it yet, but I put my E3, my creatine, my essential aminos. So it's right there. Mm-hmm. And I have also sitting with that is my hydration amplifier pack and my bottle of water already filled up with water. So when I wake up, all I have to do is put my clothes on, put water in my supplement mix, pour the hydration amplifier in my water bottle, and I'm ready to go out the door.
Oh, nice.
So if you don't do things like that and set yourself up, so again, the environment for the habit, it can become harder. And like the water thing, and maybe it's just, I want to start drinking more water throughout the day. So before you go to bed, fill up that water bottle. If you like it cold, put it in the fridge. So it's there. So when you wake up in the morning, you open that fridge. Okay, There's my water. I'm committed to this. I'm starting. But if you don't do that, you may forget, and then you start drinking a lot of water later in the afternoon, and then you're up all night going to the bathroom, and then you're like, this sucks. I'm not going to keep doing this. So you have to set up your environment. That's very important. There could be lots of examples for that.
There was a quote in the book Atomic Habits where he says, be the architect of your habits, not the victim of them. So be the architect. So if that's the stuff that requires, you build that. You build the process around it. You build to increase the probability that you will take action.
Yes. And also with healthy eating. So say your goal is I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables. Okay. Well, when you go to the store and buy the fruit and vegetables, wash them, cut them, have them sitting in the forefront of your fridge so that when you're hungry and you're not really wanting to do much work, you're starving, you open it up and there they are. If they're not cleaned and they're put away, then the thought of now I got to take them out, I got to wash everything, I got to chop everything. So just prepare, do the grocery store and add that extra step in there because you're going to go to the grocery store, take another 15 minutes and just wash and chop your fruits and vegetables. That way, again, it's ready for you. And also another good resolution is meal prepping. I don't know if anybody did that out there. If you did,
awesome.
Raise your hand.
That is freaking
meal prepping is huge.
huge.
And that's the same thing. When you go to the grocery store, start doing the meal prep. Or I like to do Sundays. This week's going to be a little tough because I got home at midnight last night from traveling, but I usually do it on Sundays and I just set aside a few hours and I don't leave, I don't leave the kitchen, but we put on music in the house. If it's a sunny day, this is going to sound funny, but sometimes I put my bathing suit on with like a cover up. So I kind of feel like I'm like out there, even though I'm not. Or I'll use the grill if I want to be outside if it's a gorgeous day. So I'll take all my meats and some vegetables and use the grill to prep. So there's always ways to fit it in. Okay, that was a lot. Just another one is have fun. You've got to make it fun for yourself. So if exercise is something that your goal, but you decide like, because your best friend or your coworker does kickboxing. So you're going to join Jane doing kickboxing, but then you're in kickboxing. You're like, I hate kickboxing. Well, that's not the only form of exercise. Fun. So find something that you like that's going to be motivating for you. Try different classes. A lot of gyms or even the little small ones that do the classes, they'll offer a free class. So try it and see what you think you're going to enjoy the most, right? And then go for it. Or it's like if you hate lentils and you're like, well, I'm going to increase my protein by eating lentils, but you hate lentils. I mean, are you really going to stick with that?
Yeah, probably not.
So find a protein source that you like. If you love smoothies, use our protein powder, make smoothies. You can even use our protein powder in baked goods, anywhere to do it. But again, enjoyment. You got to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're not going to stick to it, right? And that's why I also talk about when it comes to diets, let's not do like some crazy diet, or maybe if you're going to do it, know that you're just going to do it as a step to get to that stable, healthy eating. But if you say, I'm going to go keto for a whole year, that's extreme. And the chances of you sticking to that, are rough. But I'm going to do 3 months of keto to get my body on track, to get the weight loss down, to get my blood sugar in check. And then I'm just going to balance off into a Mediterranean diet where and I use that diet just because it's very balanced and clean and healthy fats and proteins and good carbs. So that was just another example. Make it really easy to commit. So habit formation requires a level of honesty with yourself, which is very true.
Sure.
And that goes back to like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like slip ups happen, just recommit immediately. Right? Okay. Focus on getting, I kind of talked about this a little bit. Focus on getting started instead of the end result. So if like your goal is to exercise more, you have to think about all those steps. So I'm going to go join this gym.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go there 3 days a week. And then I'm going to increase that. Like it can even be like each week is like a little step getting to your end result. But again, if you just focus so far on the end, the process of getting there can also be very overwhelming to the point where you shut down and then you're over it. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, that was a lot on tips because that's what we wanted to be most about. But most common reasons New Year's resolutions fail.
Okay.
We're not going to go crazy on this because some of it is what we just said. But the most common that people...
Let me take a guess.
Okay.
Too broad.
Pretty much.
I didn't read.
The most common reason that people abandon their resolutions is because they set goals that are overly ambitious or unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, it's I'm going to lose 100 pounds. Like, that sounds great, but that's really aggressive. Or I am never going to eat a single processed food again. Okay, well, in hindsight, that sounds great, but that's also very hard. So you have to give yourself like the grace of
it's not healthy. It's not realistic.
Right. And that's what I like to do when it comes to like diet and stuff or anything. It's like an 80-20 rule, because you have to give yourself that little leeway to not be so strict and stressful. Yeah. So again, and here it goes. When you start off too big, too vague, and without anything to help buffer, people typically get overwhelmed. They don't get very far, and they give up before they ever really started. So these are all kind of the same thing. Set specific goals along with developing a plan to accomplish it. So that's another reason why they fail, is they don't set those specific goals. Okay, yeah, and this is just an example I wrote down. Instead of saying I'm going to exercise more in 2025. Okay, great. But I'm going to choose to exercise for 10 minutes per day for the first week, and then 20 minutes per day the second week. Or not per day, 5 days a week, whatever works for you. So again, it's about getting there. So you can't just say that I'm going to exercise more in 2025. How are you going to do it? Unrealistic expectations of the duration of the habit formation process can lead the person to give up during the learning phase. So this goes back, this is scientific. There is a learning phase. And if you set these unrealistic expectations, maybe like I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, very unrealistic. So don't set those expectations, because then during that learning phase, you end up giving up, and then you've never really, you've got to cross over there. And know, when you are in this learning phase, the motivation that is required decreases. At first, it's going to take a heck of a lot of motivation each day to get you going. And this is all in that learning phase. But as you keep doing it week after week, that motivation that's needed is not going to be as extreme, as intense. Things are going to start to become habitual, start to become automatic. Okay, so that was just kind of simple of most common reasons people quit or fail or don't make it past National Quitters Day, which is kind of funny because it is only 2 weeks in. So I feel like it should be a little longer than that. But okay, so benefits of forming healthy habits. And this is, again, this is anything that we're changing a new habit. It always is beneficial for the health. If it's not yelling at your kids as much, it's working under stress, if it's financial goals, if it's exercise, diet, whatever it may be, these are all healthy habits that better our life. So, and when you commit to long-term fitness and wellness habits, you'll see a positive ripple effect across your entire life. So other things will come naturally more easy. That's why I always say, when we're working on the 7 pillars of health that we always talk about, starting with supplementation, because you start to feel better and then you get that ripple effect. I'm feeling better now. I have the energy. So now I'm going to bring that exercise into it. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I'm feeling so good after exercise, and I want to eat something so healthy after I exercise. So again, you see this positive ripple effect in your life.
Yeah.
Things just start to become better.
And then you get the negative feedback too. So when you eat that crappy food and you're like, ooh, gosh, I don't feel that so good after that.
Your gut feels bad. You feel bad about yourself. It gets to your brain.
So it reinforces all of those positive changes you've made.
Yes, 100%.
Love it.
So if there's one universal truth about habit formation, it's things will get in the way. No matter how committed we are.
Yep.
This is real life. Things get in the way.
Sure.
Life always happens. It can muck up our best intentions. So instead of feeling defeated by obstacles that will inevitably creep up, plan for them. So kind of think about them ahead of time. I've got a really busy day at work. There's going to be absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to eat well, move my body. Think about it ahead. Okay, I'm going to pack my lunch, and on my lunch break, I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to walk until my lunch break is over. Just little things like that. That way you're said, I moved my body today.
That's great.
Yeah. All right.
I think there's something to be said too about some of the background noise in your brain. So somebody was saying that they use words as resolutions, where you can say capable. I don't know what word they put, and so just kind of reiterate that to yourself, remind yourself, and something too, say you set a goal for to be healthy. It's very broad, right?
Mhm.
But say it's something specific about food or movement or more frequent breaks up from your desk to move your body more, just overall to be more healthy in the background of your brain. So like you're parking in the parking lot. What would the more healthy me do? Park further away, walk.
Mhm.
What would the more healthy version of myself do? They would take the stairs and not the elevator.
Right.
That kind of thing, right? And I know I remember there was a story about these rowers that were trying to compete in the Olympics, and they said their behaviors had to change to be competitive. So they were always said, well, what's going to make me a faster rower? Will the French fries make me a faster rower, or should I choose a healthier cruciferous vegetable?
Right.
And I think that's the background noise. And so using that as motivation can be very, very powerful too. The challenge though is to remind yourself to think that way.
Yes.
It's like, how do I keep that running quietly, subconsciously moving through my brain, in those times of need where your brain is busy because somebody just literally pulled in front of you, or, you're running and rushing to get to your children's next appointment.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just, we have to slow down. And I'm guilty of this too. Like just that constant hurry, go, go, go. But we have to just, you don't have to like really like take time and slow down, but just take a breath.
Yeah, sure. Breathing powers. I mean, there's a lot of breathing comments in here. Yeah. The Wim Hof method every day.
Yes. I love that.
There's a lot of that too, being conscious of your surroundings, being aware, self-aware,
right.
These different things, but
yes,
that's the stuff I'm working on.
Right. I agree.
Yeah,
I just learned a breathing technique this weekend. I was with a group of girls, and everybody, we always get take-home messages of tips and tricks, but it's when you do with your 4 count inhale and exhale, you say easy and calm, but you spell it out. So EASYCALM, and you don't have to do it for long until all of a sudden you're like, okay. And then you can focus, you can think about what you're doing. So, I mean, some of these things seem simple, but guys, you just have to find what works for you.
I was going to say,
what works for Ryan doesn't necessarily work for me or the person next to me. Or so listen to people's suggestion, take tips, but take what works for you.
Yeah.
Because this is all about you bettering yourself.
And like Tina says here, think ahead, so summer is coming. So, okay, summer is coming. Use that as your motivation. Great. Whatever works.
Right.
Absolutely.
Set specific goals. Give yourself grace. Yes, Gail.
Writing things down, I think, is powerful. A lot of you guys are talking about journaling and writing, and that is powerful because it's accountability.
Sure.
Especially if you keep something consistent so that you're addressing what exercise, what level of movement did you achieve today? Like, say you answer that every day in your journal.
Right. Definitely. Okay. Albert says, any suggestions for over 65 to get realistic results? I mean, all of this applies to any age. Everyone. But Albert, if you haven't watched our training on the 7 pillars of health, watch that, because that can help you pick one of those pillars, right? And work on that. So each pillar, make that each a new goal, a new habit that you want to form. And once you perfect that habit, say 10 weeks, add another pillar in there. And I mean, you will see realistic results. Right?
Yes. Yes.
But there's lots of great comments. People just loving the information. So we hope that this helps you guys. And someone says, be proud of who you are. Alan, that's very true. Be proud of who you are.
Nice, Alan.
Yeah. I mean, self-love. Embrace your uniqueness. Again, yeah.
Ooh,
we all are different, and we're supposed to be that way. I try to tell my kids that all the time, because when kids start to compare themselves to like everything, like we're not all supposed to be like that. If we were, this world would be a horrible place. Like we were all the same. It'd be very boring.
Yes. Let them.
Awesome.
Alan, you've got a lot of good ones here today, bud.
Yeah. But I mean, I appreciate these comments. I hope today helped. Because again, we're still at the beginning. I'm sure most of you, hopefully all of you, have made it past National Quitters Day. And if you're thinking about how things are getting harder, remember that 10 weeks is like an average. So again, give yourself the grace and just be consistent. Don't worry. Don't let setbacks really set you back. Recommit right after that setback. Because again, we're human. It's natural. And
love it. Good job, Lisa.
You guys can do it
awesome.
all. Always here for more questions. You can email me, lisa@livegood.com. Again, we do these every Monday at noon. It's just some type of health topic. If we have new products, we bring that to the table, and we'll always start to circle back around to other products. So we know we have lots of new followers, and there's always new. I mean, health, nutrition, science, it's forever changing and growing and evolving. So there's always new information out there. We will not be here next Monday, unfortunately. Our daughter is in a volleyball tournament, and now because she's in the older bracket, they're typically 3-day tournaments.
Oof.
So we will be in Orlando for that Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll miss you guys, but we'll be back the following Monday. Maybe the new product launch. We will see.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.